There is something very special about concerts. To me, there are few experiences as exciting or as human as being in the same room as your favorite musicians, surrounded by fellow fans, all enjoying a live performance. But a new trend is completely altering the world of live performances: holograms. Although the idea of using holograms in concert seems new and innovative, virtual music is hardly a recent concept. The success of virtual band Gorillaz in 2001 paved the way for holograms of musicians on stage. However, in recent years, holograms have been used to depict artists who are far from fictional. Roy Orbison, Prince, and Amy Winehouse have all been resurrected via hologram to perform for audiences long after their respective deaths. However, these concert tours are viewed much less favorably than their fictional counterparts. Several questions have been raised. Is it ethical to sell tickets to a dead singer's concert? Are holographic concerts a sincere tribute or a disrespectful cash grab? And how will they shape the future of live performances? Now that the novelty has worn off, the answers become clear. Holographic performances are exciting and inventive when used to bring fictional characters or living artists to life. The usage of holograms to revive dead artists is widely viewed as highly unethical and disrespectful, but unfortunately, that likely won't be enough to stop them from irreversibly transforming the face of live performances. Of course, holograms were not always used specifically for music. In fact, they were created nearly a century ago, and similar processes date back even earlier. For example, Pepper's ghost is not a hologram, but an illusionary technique that originated in the Victorian era. Academic journalist Danielle Lavendier describes Pepper's ghost as, quote, an optical illusion in which an actor playing the ghost acts the part in an enclosed area below and in front of or next to the main stage. Glass or some other clear and reflective surface is set up on the main stage at a 45-degree angle towards the substage, and as light on the main stage is lessened but brightened in the smaller room, whatever is being acted out in the smaller room will project a ghostly image on the larger stage. The hologram as we know it was first conceptualized in 1947 by a Hungarian engineer named Denis Gabor. In more recent times, holograms can be used in a multitude of fields, such as military, medicine, and art. They can even be used to provide an interactive digital education in schools. However, this piece will focus specifically on their most widely known and controversial use: entertainment, particularly live music. As mentioned before, holograms can be used to create the feeling of a live performance when the performer is not physically present. There are generally three varieties of musician that holographic concerts attempt to depict: fictional, living, and dead. Arguably, the most famous example of fictional musicians is the British virtual band Gorillaz. Created in 1998 by singer Damon Albarn and comic artist Jamie Hewlett, the band itself is represented by 4 cartoon characters that have no basis in reality. Interestingly, the band was created as a pastiche of celebrity culture, a criticism of how celebrities, especially famous musicians, are treated both as icons and products. If anything, their commentary on the commodification of celebrities has only become more felicitous with the rise of holographic concerts. Gorillaz have employed a variety of methods for their live performances throughout the decades, including holograms. For example, the virtual band performed alongside Madonna at the 2006 Grammy Awards using Pepper's ghost. The cartoon musicians and the real-life Madonna interact seamlessly. At one point during the performance, Madonna even dances with and blows a kiss to the band's fictional bassist. Another example of holograms being used to bring fictional musicians to life is the Japanese phenomenon Vocaloid, a software program that mimics a human voice. The most well-known example of a Vocaloid artist is Hatsune Miku, a fictional idol who appears in concert as a hologram. The second variety of holographic concert, featuring living musicians, is a relatively new phenomenon. The most mainstream example would be Swedish pop group ABBA's new tour. Even though all 4 members of the band are still alive, they have chosen to have holograms tour in their stead. While these forms of live performances have been well received, there is a new and controversial trend in the world of holographic concerts. Ever since Tupac, or rather Tupac's image, performed at Coachella in 2012, more and more deceased artists have been making appearances on stage. The technological movement gained mainstream recognition again when a projection of Prince was displayed during the 2018 Super Bowl, a mere 2 years after his death. The controversy surrounding this incident focused on the fact that Prince had explicitly stated his dislike and mistrust of hologram technology, describing the usage of the holograms to represent dead artists as, quote, the most demonic imaginable. These incidents have sparked an ongoing debate concerning whether or not holographic concerts are ethical. But to understand the ethics of holographic concerts, one must first understand how they work. While Pepper's Ghost was used for Gorillaz' performance at the 2006 Grammys and is still commonly used today, newer concerts take a different approach. However, it must be clarified that while these displays are commonly referred to as holograms, they technically are not. These artists are either brought back to life through optical illusions, such as Pepper's Ghost, or through a CGI process similar to what is used in Hollywood. A body double is used to recreate the movements and mannerisms of the artist, and then the artist's face is overlaid onto that of the body doubles. For example, a similar technique was used to resurrect Carrie Fisher and Peter Cushing in the film Rogue One. However, for the sake of clarity and consistency, all of the technological methods mentioned will be henceforth referred to as holograms. The earliest and most infamous example of a hologram being used to resurrect a deceased artist is Tupac's appearance at the Coachella Festival in 2012, which I mentioned before. Currently, the most notable hologram show is not a tour, but a series of concerts in Minnesota led by Roy Orbison and Buddy Holly, who both have been dead for over 30 years. Although these performances are not considered to be a tour, they would be more comparable to a Las Vegas residency. It should be noted that the concert venue does not appear to play any significant role in the audience's response. Additionally, hologram tours featuring both Amy Winehouse and Whitney Houston are in the works. Although the proposed Winehouse tour was postponed after receiving a massive amount of backlash online. Many Winehouse fans, including myself, deemed the tour disrespectful to her memory. Overall, responses from audiences have been mixed, with public opinion ranging from neutral to extremely negative. Chris Riemenschneider, a Star Tribune critic, wrote that, quote, the weirdness of seeing a 3D Dio back from the great beyond never went away. Morris Day, who starred in Purple Rain alongside Prince, described seeing Prince resurrected via hologram as, quote, creepy. The most common criticism of holographic concerts is that they are both disrespectful to the artist and a violation of their privacy. However, it cannot be ignored that holograms have the potential to become a billion-dollar business. Entertainment lawyer Ken Abdo believes that, quote, holograms can provide continued protection of artists' intellectual property and create revenue for artists' estates. In fact, he has even begun encouraging his clients to include clauses in their wills concerning digital use of their images. To Abdo, the rights of the musicians in question come second to the potential revenue. Quote, there is enough momentum and money in this movement that the rights will get figured out. But this potential revenue comes at a cost. Arguably, the most exigent impact that holographic concerts have is that they unintentionally undermine the death of an artist. On June 18, 2011, Amy Winehouse performed at Kalemegdan Park in Belgrade, Serbia, on the first night of what was supposed to be a 12-leg European tour. Instead, it was her final full performance. However, it was recently announced that Winehouse, as a hologram, would begin touring in North America. So, in a sense, her performance in Serbia was not her last after all. It begs the question, how should we remember Amy Winehouse and other artists who suffered similar fates? Do we remember them in their prime, the way we see them on screen? Or do we remember the misfortune that befell them? By bringing Winehouse back in this way, it buries her final performances and attempts to disguise the fact that her tragic death even occurred in the first place. The problem with holographic concerts is that they diminish the impact of the deaths of the musicians they depict. Ultimately, the future of holographic concerts depends entirely on what audiences are willing to accept. As seen previously with musical acts like Gorillaz and ABBA, audiences enjoy holograms when they are used to bring fictional characters into the real world or to de-age living artists. But the act of using holograms to bring a deceased musician back to life is, for some audiences, unsettling and discomforting. Martin Tudor, the CEO of Bass Hologram Productions, describes hologram tours as, quote, a way to experience artists as closely as possible without actually being there with the actual artists. But do the majority of audiences agree? Are holograms truly an acceptable substitute for a living, breathing musician? It is unlikely that audiences will allow holograms to render live performances obsolete, but only time will tell as we become further embroiled in the age of the hologram. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you liked me, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I don't usually make videos like this. My videos are usually a lot more casual and conversational, but I still hope you liked it, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye!